PJNET.TV Part 2 coming up at 9:30 here on the East Coast. We have Del Duduit, such as he is, in our green room. We have a bumper rolling. We have a background ready. And we are streaming on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Let's switch to Studio 6 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, we're back. It's part 2, PJNET.TV. Special welcome to those of you watching live in the PJNET.TV chat room. That would include, Ben is here, Steve is here, JD's here, Renee's here, Sunbelt Girl's here, Tammy's here. And there have been some others come and go. And there'll probably be some more come and go. Special thank you to you guys and girls who join our chat room. Makes it great. If you're watching this on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube live, great. If you're watching this recorded, wherever you're seeing it, I'm glad you're here. Every week about this time, we bring you, all the way from the great state of Ohio, a renowned author, sports writer, literary agent. What else are you, Del? Sick. You're sick. That's what you're.
I'm sick. So it'll be all right though. We'll get through it.
All right. Well, I was glad to see you've always got a way of taking whatever the message is in your blog and making it encouraging. But there's a lot of crazy stuff going on out there.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like this. And that's what I always hear from everybody is that this is unprecedented. We've never been. Life is standstill right now, and it's fascinating. It's intriguing. It's a little scary at times, but everything's shut down. We're living like in a ghost town right now, and I understand it. I get it. Take precautions, but at the same time, we're being denied our very rights that we have. But we should heed the advice and direction of our leaders. But it's getting to be almost a slippery slope here. Well, this road we're going down to where it's almost like martial law. I mean, we can't go out. We're encouraged not to go out. We can't find toilet paper to save your life. People are panicking, and that's largely because I think a lot of it's due to the media, and they're hyping this up, and so we're living in different times right now. So, and I pointed out, everything hit the fan last week. It was the Friday the 13th, and when the time changed, it was a full moon. So everything got in line for this right now. But yeah, we're seeing panic by people, and you go into a store and you see empty shelves, and they're just scared. They're scared.
I think there is something very unique and distinguishing about this particular event versus other events in our history, and not only our history as a nation, but our history as humanity. You point out in your blog, after September 11th, this nation came together and unified, and for those few moments or days or weeks, whatever it was, we stood as one, and we didn't run and hide. We stood up and said, bring it on, but you have messed with the wrong Marine. That's a very different reaction than we're getting now, and I remember those resounding words from an American president that I think apply more today than they did when he said them. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Yeah, and again, I understand it because we don't know what's going on. I mean, a lot of the leaders really don't. I think we've been watching a lot of the broadcasts, a lot of the news conferences, and President Trump's doing, I think, from what I understand, is very calm, very reassuring, and people are doing what they feel they need to do. But yeah, you're right. What I pointed out is back in September 11th, we were told, do not let the enemy win. Do not let them deter you from going out to the movies. Don't let you deter them from going out to eat. And now we can't do that. So it's done a complete circle. We've done a complete turnaround on that because they're trying to keep this thing from spreading. And people are panicked, and because they don't know who has it. They don't know what's going to happen. So, and I guess the big mad rush to buy toilet paper is if somebody's self-quarantined for 2 weeks, that they're going to make sure they have enough supply. I mean, good grief! I think a couple of rolls should do it. So
Well, it
you
depends
know,
on your symptoms.
I guess so, but and people can't find baby formula because people
That's
hoard
sad.
that
Hmm.
because they can turn it into milk later.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's sad. It's because we're a selfish society. We're a society that don't put anybody first but themselves. And I mean, my daughter-in-law barely got some formula for our grandson. Her sister couldn't find any, and it's you can't get it on Amazon because they can't deliver it now. So you're kind
Oh,
of
well, we're in trouble if Amazon.
it's perilous times right now, and I think it'll be short-lived, but we'll see what people are made of in this time.
I think that some positive things can come out once this kind of blows over. For
Yeah.
example, just basic hygiene is being emphasized. Things you really shouldn't even have to emphasize. And I love to see the messages that, wash your hands for 20 seconds, and the things you can do with that 20 seconds include prayer.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean basics. I mean things we were taught all the time. Wash your hands, sanitize. I think people are going to spend some time with each other, with their families. They're going to be inside, so hopefully they'll rediscover each other. So I think that's going to be some good things that come about. You'll probably see a big baby boom in 9 months.
Hmm.
That'll be a good thing. But there's some very scary things coming out of this. I mean, as I pointed out that in Italy, which has been devastated,
Hmm.
they are now, if an older person comes in over 80 with symptoms, and it's widely reported. It's not just me saying this. They're letting them die. They're saying we can't save them, we can't help them, but we can help these other folks. So it is, modern day euthanasia,
It is.
and we are seeing that unfold, and that's scary because they're going to decide who's worthy and who's not worthy to live. And I think that's what the pro-death movement wants. They want to kill the babies before they're born, and then they want to kill the older population because they don't want to take care of them. Abortion and euthanasia is the ultimate form of racism. It's the ultimate form of discrimination, and the left embraces this. So the very side that squeals to the tops of their lungs about we're all racist, and we hear AOC say that every day of her life. That's the only word she knows is, "Well, you're a racist."
Hmm.
She embraces this philosophy. She's the ultimate racist.
Well, I sort of project forward. What if things just keep going the way it is? Okay, you shouldn't go out and assemble, can't go to church, can't go to work, can't do this, can't do that. I thought, well, what is the difference between that and death? It's slower.
Yeah,
I mean, death is
yeah,
faster. I mean, it'd be less
yeah.
painful. What is the
And,
point
and
of living?
yeah, if you can't enjoy life, I mean, I guess you're just stuck to the television, and you're just stuck to eating, Cheez-Its every day. So I think this will be short lived. I think we'll be back to normal here in a few weeks. I mean, we can still go out and live our life, but we can enjoy things like, we're trying to decide, what events I'm planning to go to are going to be canceled. So we're so far none of my events I've got scheduled are being canceled. We were talking yesterday to folks with the Indianapolis 500. They're still determined that they're going to go as preceded, and that's at the end of May. It's within that 8 week period.
Hmm.
So their release today and their communication yesterday was, we plan to run this race. Now the Kentucky Derby has already moved. They've rescheduled, which works out for me very well because I couldn't go to the event in May. But now I'll be able to entertain going because it's been moved to September 5th. So I can possibly look at going to the Kentucky Derby now because that day is free for me. So it's a good thing, I guess, in a way. But we were supposed to have elections tonight. They were postponed.
I voted today.
Yeah. Well, our primary in Ohio was pushed back late last night, and we have a dear friend who's been in a very tedious campaign for sheriff, and now he's going to have to get. That's going to continue now. His primary is going to continue, so it's a little nerve wracking there. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with it. I got to wipe my nose. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, don't get any
No,
on you. The
no.
another positive outcome. I mean, you can look at the donut or you can look at the hole, But churches are now scrambling to find ways to create their presence online. And I gratefully receive that.
Yeah, I saw that, and I retweeted your tweet about that, about offering your services. So far, ours hasn't canceled. I don't know what they're going to do for tomorrow night. We have a Wednesday night service, and our governor has sent out a very strong suggestion that gatherings of 25 should be disbanded, and we run 300 or 400 on any given Wednesday night. So our leaders are going to have to get together and see what's going to happen. I don't know what they're going to do. So, or if we would go, because my wife and I have both been we've had head colds, and we don't want to put any. Normally, you wouldn't think about it,
Mm-hmm.
but right now you just don't want to. You don't want to compromise somebody. So we'll have to entertain that thought tomorrow.
Well, I got word today that my church
Yeah,
has canceled services for 1 month.
yeah,
Yeah, and now our church does have some people in it that are technologically engaged, and I hope to see more of an online presence. Now the question will then be, is after this blows over, are they going to retreat back to what I call caged Christianity, where we build a fence around ourselves, build a wall around ourselves, let ourselves in, close the door behind us, and have a good old time of worship and praise and edification inside the cage.
yeah. It's always good. You always have to look for good things. Our church does broadcast live every Sunday morning, and our church live streams, and we have cameras up, so they're always kind of ahead of the game there as far as that goes. But I don't think we've ever canceled a service due to this, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens tomorrow night. I don't know what they'll do or what road they'll go down, but we'll support them.
Well, I'm glad to see churches, being, albeit forced, drugged by their hair, kicking and screaming across the live streaming threshold. But even
Yeah,
those churches that do live stream, I'm a little disappointed that that's sort of a, oh yeah, we do that too.
yeah,
There's just not much put into it. But I think this is going to cause churches to examine, can we actually do this and be viable? It's going to have an economic impact because I tell you, there is a
yeah,
definite, what's the word I'm looking for in English? There's something about passing that plate. You've got to touch it, and
yeah,
you're confronted with that plate, and you can pass it along, but you've got to make a volitional choice. Well, on the
yeah.
internet, that's not that way. It's a little harder to pass the plate on the internet. So I'm wondering what's going to happen economically to some churches if attendance will go down. Even if they hold the services, some people are going to stay
Yeah,
home. This is going to have
yeah.
an economic impact that's not going to just vanish as this blows over.
Well, as you mentioned, our church, is very blessed, and we support a lot of ministries through our giving. I mean, a lot of ministries through our giving. As a church, we support numerous missionaries, so they'll feel the impact of this too.
Right.
If our giving it goes down due to not being there, and again, yeah, it's a whole lot easier to throw money in the plate than it is to go online. So they'll maybe take a hit, maybe 2 or 3 months down the road, they'll start feeling the impact, and it's going to be you'll see some impacts of this for quite a while. I mean, we were talking to the lady who cuts my hair the other day. She's really nervous because she's not there. She's not having people come to her business right now.
Hmm.
Dear friend of mine, who's a pastor, who's also an author, has a little coffee shop. He put out a post the other day saying, I won't survive this. He said, I live day to day, and my business will not make it if I have to shut down for 3 weeks. And so he's nervous, and that's just here in our little town. So I can't imagine what it's like in New York City or Philadelphia, or where I heard a report tonight on Fox News where 90% of business are small business owners,
Hmm. That's
and
true.
so they're the ones who carry the weight, and they're going to be the ones who feel the brunt. But
Exactly.
you are seeing good news, come out of this, and be folks who do have resources, like the Dallas Mavericks owner. When they ended their season, uh, there's people who work there who take tickets, who
Hmm.
work concession stands, who do security, who are out of a job, and they don't make the billions that these athletes make. This owner said, "I will pay everybody through the end of the season. You will be paid." So that's a great gesture. You're seeing a lot of athletic teams do that now, paying the people who do come into work, who don't make a lot of money, but they depend on that. That's their income. So a lot of teams they're rallying behind that, and they are providing they're providing paychecks right now. So that's the good part where people make a lot of money, they give back, and you like to see that.
I'm not a writer, so I have to keep saying things to people who are, hoping to inspire a book that I cannot write. And a phrase I don't really know where I got it, but heroes are born of crisis. Now, we've all heard that,
Yeah.
but I say another sentence, and so are cowards. I love to see the heroes in situations like this. You see, like you just pointed out, remarkable acts of kindness, remarkable acts of courage. It's what makes humanity. It's that human that spirit within us that drives us forward.
Yeah.
But you also see cowards,
Yeah, you do.
and blamers and naysayers and
Yeah.
the blame game, and the blame game's being waged all over everywhere you look.
Yeah, then you walk into a grocery store and you see a person who's, morbidly obese on a cart with like 9 packs of toilet paper
Mm-hmm.
because they're just hoarding it all. So yeah, you see all kinds of you see what people are made of in these times. When 9/11 happened, I remember Pat Tillman left his job with the Arizona Cardinals and volunteered for war, and he was killed.
Mm-hmm.
He died in battle, and a professional athlete left his job, and then you get players who come on who have a good game and call themselves they're a big warrior. No, they're not. They're a daggone athlete getting paid to play a game. If you're a warrior, you would have gone and done what Pat Tillman did and fought for our country. So athletes, and I'm around them a lot. They're great. A lot of them give back. We're seeing that now, but a lot of them put themselves up on a pedestal, which that pedestal can crumble when they make themselves bigger than life and bigger than the game and call themselves a warrior. They're not a warrior. They're somebody playing a ball game,
Yeah.
and that's it. And that's all.
To equate oneself as a member of a team as a warrior,
Yeah.
is sort of a gladiatorial metaphor, which I think sports does to some extent. Give us a socially harmless way of what used to be gladiatorial spectacles. But nonetheless, I would say in the case of football, if you think you're a hero, if you think you're a warrior, you're crazy, because there's
Yeah,
11
you're not.
people on that team and you're one of them. And anything that you are able to do is only because of the other 10. Take those other 10 guys off the field, you'd be on your back.
Well, again, and sports does provide a great outlet. I remember when 9/11 happened. You had the World Series going on, and President Bush walks out there at Yankee Stadium, and everybody was united.
Mhm.
So sports has a way of doing that, has a way of uniting folks, and I think, as you mentioned earlier, a crisis can bring out the best, and it often brings out the best in most people, but it does show the worst in only a few. And I get tired of seeing those people who brings out the worst in them. So hopefully they'll be few and far between, and they're the ones hunkered down. They're the ones going to the store, rushing to the store, buying everything up. I went in the other night just because we were low, and there were just a few boxes left, and I could have easily gotten all 4 or 5 of them. I thought, oh, yeah, I'll get 2,
Mhm.
and somebody else is going to need these too. So it's you think of others, but most people do that. But there's always those few cowards and those few folks who just think of themselves, and that's sad.
It's very narcissistic. And
Yeah,
most of us are not athletes. Most of us are not world leaders. Most of us are not in the spotlight at all. But yet each of us at a time like this can show courage. We can be at
yeah,
our best when things are at their worst. This is one of the keynote speeches that I have yet to have the opportunity to give because no one's asked me to do it. But well, actually, I did give it one time. But I think looking back, times like this are an opportunity for us to literally be at our best when
Yeah.
things are at their worst. And ordinary people can do extraordinary things, and some of them may be as simple as letting someone in line in front of you.
Yeah, and we heard some of the talking points today. There seems to be a really driving point that the younger generation, the 20, the 25-year-olds, they're the ones who aren't listening. They're the ones who they're having to shut down the bars because they're the ones gathering right now. They're trying to encourage the younger generation. Think of somebody else for once. It's a very
Mm-hmm.
selfish society. We want our cheeseburger right now. We want everything instantly, and it's a very selfish society. But they're the ones who aren't listening right now. They're the ones who eventually will pay the price when there's no jobs and when they have to pay their school off. So they're the ones who aren't listening or taking the advice of those in charge. And if you see somebody, if you see a young kid, you go up and slap them up the head, tell them get them butt home for a few days.
Yeah,
I'd love to
just
do that.
give somebody a break. I've seen several memes or posts on social media to the
Yeah.
effect of, let's open the stores. This would be interesting. I'd love to see this happen. Let's open the stores for an hour or two, and if you are under the age of whatever, no, can't come in. This is for seniors and let's give them the first shot at
Dollar
whatever
General
resource.
just announced that. They just announced that Dollar
Good for
General,
them.
when they open their store for the first hour,
Uh-huh.
you have to be. I think it's over 50 years old.
Yeah,
Somebody under that would not be allowed in.
good.
So that's great. And I hope
Good.
everybody does that just for the short time. Everybody's going to have to sacrifice and hunker down just for a couple of weeks. Don't be afraid. So you go by what your leaders say because they do have the best interests in mind. It's just a little frustrating that I can't go to the gym. But you know what? I'll just eat a couple of more Doritos and that'll be fine.
Something I have always done. And I encourage others to do this, and it's partly altruistic, but it's also partly selfish. But when I park my vehicle, I will find the most distant spot that I can in that parking lot. Now, here, let me tell you why. One is I'm just a good guy, right? And no, one, I don't like getting my door dinged. Okay, so I'm going to get out there, and my car's not dinged up a bunch because there's no cars parked around me. Number two, I am right now able to walk through a hot parking lot or a rainy parking lot or whatever it may be. But you see, when the day comes that I'm not able to do that, I want to say, no, I've earned that spot. I see people doing this all the time, and I burst into flames, Dale.
Yeah.
You see somebody pull their car, park right in front of the store. I mean, in the fire lane.
Yeah.
Get out, make their purchases, and come back in their car. It's like the parking lot is out there. See that? That's called a parking lot. That's why they call it that. But no, not for you. You think you're special and that you get to, like you're chauffeuring your own limousine, and you pull up. Who do you think you are?
Well, we've created this generation of entitlement where people, think they don't need to work because I'm gonna pay their wages throughout the day, and they keep hearing people like Bernie Sanders and AOC saying everything's going to be free, so they have this sense of entitlement that's just horribly discrimination, and where they won't go out and work, and they'll wait on that parking lot. They'll wait for that parking spot 3 spots up, where there might be 70 spots open, like 50 yards away. But
Yeah, they'll
by
bring
golly, that's an inconvenience for them to walk.
They'll burn a gallon of gas circling the parking lot.
Yeah,
Looking for, it's like
yeah.
you could have been in the store and be checking anyway.
You're right. We feel the
It's
same
sad.
way.
It's sad. It is sad. I wish I had one of those little boots like the police use.
Yeah.
I think we ought to equip civilians with boots, tire boots, and just boot that car. When they come out of their car, they're going nowhere. And
That'd be awesome.
I think that's what it's going to take. Well,
But
Del,
we were we was talking to our folks yesterday from the Olympic endeavor we're supposed to be going on right now. We're still good to go. They're supposed to be making a decision here in the next few days about Tokyo, but I still don't see them canceling that. They can't postpone it, then they can't move it. So they're either going to do it or they're not going to do it. So we'll have to wait and see on that.
it would have reverberations worldwide.
It'll cripple Japan. Yeah.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah.
All right, so all systems are still go for
for
not
now.
just that, but for all of your activities. I mean, you've got a whirlwind tour ahead of you.
Yeah, I was talking to Michelle yesterday. We're still on. I mean, so far, Book Expo is still on task. They have not made any mention that they're going to postpone because London canceled their big book show. But this is within within the 8 week period. So we're going to have to wait and see. Right now, they put out a statement yesterday saying they're still planning on going. I think you'll be able to find a good hotel. The rates are being slashed because, well, Marriott just basically laid off everybody, and so I think you'll be able to find good rates there in New York City, good flights. So everything's a go. But if it changes, you know what, I'll be okay.
You'll make the best of it. Well, Dell, hey, appreciate you sharing. Hey, I hope you get feeling a little better. Get a little NyQuil, or if you're not allowed to
I got
take
a gallon of it.
Okay, well, I
Yeah.
cannot take NyQuil,
I'll take whatever I can find.
but Jack Daniels works just about as well. But all right, well, Dell, thanks for sharing with us. Hope you get feeling a little better, bud. And we'll see you next week, man. Okay, folks, Dell Didway, as always, Tuesday night here at PJNET.TV. Once again, special thanks to those of you in the PJNET.TV chat room. I voted today. I haven't heard much about it. It was rather uneventful. And we have tomorrow night, Becky Lindsay will join us from the great Republic of California out on the West Coast, followed by Michelle Medlock Adams. And we've got some exciting new guests. By the way, Sunbelt Girl is the associate producer here at PJNet.TV, and she takes care of scheduling all the things. Real quick, bear with me. We're tinkering with a new idea. Many of you have heard about the RSS feed. One of the reasons we want to do that is to encourage as many people to post as possible and make it possible to know that those people have done that. We are finding that on Twitter, if you will, instead of just retweeting, if you will choose retweet with a comment, okay, retweet with a comment, make a post of your own and tweet it. There's several technical advantages to this, but the advantage for you is that would qualify as a post that promotes the PJNet brand and would qualify to be included in the RSS feed, that as we gain more subscribers, more and more people will be piling on to your tweet, where if you just simply retweet it, well, we would not, there's no way to include that. So I encourage you to scan Twitter, use the RSS feed or the on social media page on the PJNet.TV website, and pile on. And if you are inclined to retweet it, please retweet it with a comment. And I hope this week, maybe as early as tomorrow, we'll have a place where you can report a sighting of a PJNet tweet that promotes the brand and thus the people within it, and thus the message to which we all hold dear, that message of Jesus Christ, the good news, the gospel. That is all, except for 2 questions. First question: what is the boldest thing you've ever done for Jesus Christ? The second question is, when was that? The challenge for all of us, myself included, is to never be satisfied with either answer.